Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of the Chat from the Back podcast, and especially this week we've got the video form back for the podcast. So you all know Scotty, and if you listen to our last podcast, this is Jaimie.
Hey.
So, welcome back on, man. Thanks for coming back.
It's good to be back. That was a fun podcast that last time.
It actually got so many listens, eh?
Yeah, it's a huge topic in football.
I think it's our second highest listen.
Nice.
And obviously, as everyone knows, since that one, no Super League.
No, yeah, it just crumbled
Thank
completely.
the Lord.
Lucky we did it when we did.
Like, seriously, I think it lasted less than most people's sex lives, I think, on their first attempt.
To be honest, it's still going, because Real Madrid, Barcelona, and I think Juventus are still holding on to dear hope that they can have something going, but thank God City and Chelsea woke up and then, greedy Glazers and everyone else came out behind them. So
But in saying that, them holding on to that is like someone holding on to the fact that, like, yes, I finally had sex. It was with a prostitute, but you finally had it.
sex, yeah.
It's not gonna. It doesn't happen.
No,
it doesn't.
No, it's not. The champions, the Super League with 3 clubs that didn't win the league titles this year.
And Juventus only just made
almost didn't make it.
They almost made Europa League.
Broke the hearts of so many Swedish, Norwegian, and Russian kids being able to see Cristiano Ronaldo in the Europa League.
Right.
If he doesn't go to United.
Yeah. Well, that's the talk. Like, obviously, you've seen from the title that we're looking back on the predictions we did at the start of the year for the Premier League. I don't think I did too badly.
I did pretty good.
Yeah.
I did bad.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we didn't have Scotty's up. I'll put mine up now on the video. I'll quickly run through them now for the podcast so you know what I predicted. I say I didn't do too badly. I only got one right. But all the rest were only like a couple of places off.
Close, yeah.
Well, I predicted Chelsea to finish first. They finished fourth. Liverpool for second. They finished third. United third, they finished second. City fourth, obviously they won it. Yeah. Then I had Leeds in fifth, they finished ninth. I got laughed at for saying Leeds would be up in the top and pushing for Europe.
They were going to do better than Sheffield United did.
So I'm not saying I'm last, I'm laughing, but for anyone that said I was wrong with that.
There was a point in the season where they were flying in the top 5 and it looked like they were going to be contending. Like Sheffield United last season, they were right up there until COVID hit and then it dropped away. Leeds, for whatever reason, just fell off at the last part of the season, but they were great to watch. Some of their games were amazing.
They were games you didn't want to miss.
Yeah, 5-4s and 4-3s against Liverpool.
That was the first game of the season. That was the first game of the season, and everyone's still saying, like, game of the season potentially. Yeah,
I mean, Patrick Bamford was someone who I didn't really rate going into the season. He had a screamer.
Could they struggle to hold on to him in the summer?
Nah, I heard him on the Peter Crouch podcast. He seems to really like working under Bielsa. So as long as he's there, I think. I mean, he gave him the chance.
Yeah, but there's also the talk that is Bielsa still going to be there.
Yeah, I think I did read something that he was definitely going to stick around. He likes being in Leeds, which is crazy because it's Yorkshire, and I'm saying that as a Sheffield fan. So.
Yeah, but after that, I had Wolves in 6th. They went 13th. Arsenal in 7th. They went 8th. Spurs in 8th. They went 7th. Leicester in 9th, they went 5th. I've got Everton right in 10th.
Nice.
Typical finish from Everton.
The average team.
Literally, they are the average team.
They're going to be anywhere from 8th to 12th every season. Even with how good they started and people were saying they're going to win the Premier League, they just couldn't hold it. James getting injured.
Yeah.
DCL not being as good as everyone thought he was at the start of the year.
Yeah, it's all well and good to have that solid start and be going at the start, but then teams are going to work you out.
Yeah, exactly. Like they did Sheffield United.
It's going to happen. And then I had Palace in 11th. They went 14th. Fulham I had in 12th. They went 18th. I got that one massively wrong, but I just thought that they would have learnt from the last time they were in the Prem where they went straight back down. I thought they would have learnt from that.
You would think, them and West Brom are both yo-yo teams. In Norwich, Norwich are coming up next.
They're coming up, but they'll be straight back down.
They're all, exactly. They're all yo-yo teams.
I had Southampton in 13th. They went 15th, so it wasn't too far off there. Then I had 14th. I had Sheffield United.
Yep.
Obviously finished.
We'll swiftly move on from
Finished 20th.
Don't know what you're talking about. We had a great season. We won the last game.
We won the last game, and I think as much as it sucks going down, Wednesday going down.
Oh, it's so much better.
Makes that little bit sweeter.
Not even on our level.
Yeah. Again, not on your level.
Yeah.
Still aren't.
Still not, no.
Then I had Newcastle in 15th, they went 12th. Aston Villa in 16th, they went 11th. They surprised me this year.
Yeah, they were, considering last year they should have been relegated, but not for that.
They came in very solid this year. Like,
they bought really well.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins, the goalkeeper, goalkeeper from Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think Ross Barkley was there on loan.
Yeah.
Just really well.
And there's still
worked.
talk. I think there's talk of Barkley not going back.
I don't understand why he would. He just doesn't fit the way they play anymore.
Yeah.
He'd be good at Villa full time.
100%. But whether Villa want to sacrifice as much money as what Chelsea would probably be asking.
And their owner seems to be stupid with money.
Yeah.
So
he might go for it.
Because, I mean, last season they spent 130 million or something like that on players and still almost went down. Should have gone down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
always harp on that.
Yeah, and then I had Brighton in 17th. They finished 16th.
Yeah, I mean, they were going to be in the relegation battle.
And then the three I predicted to go down were Burnley, West Ham, and West Brom. Burnley,
One of them doesn't
West Brom I did get right to go down.
Yep.
I had them one position. I had them finished in 20th. They finished 19th.
just.
West Ham, like, who in the hell saw that coming this year?
Nope.
No one.
Well, Jesse
Absolutely.
Lingard when he went there, that was
Well,
the
yeah,
difference.
Well, like we were saying before off air, like so many people in prediction videos at the start of the season have said that the last couple of years, oh yeah, West Ham will be alright this year, West Ham will finish up the top. But this year we're going to be sensible. We're not going to make a bad prediction.
Not going to over.
They're going to be down the bottom.
Yep.
Well, you screwed us over.
And on my show,
We're not laughing.
when we recorded our Premier League thing on the Talking Prem podcast, previously Talking Prem podcast, both my co-hosts had them dead last, like 20th.
Yeah.
And I said, no, they'll be 15th, 16th, 17th, around there, I think I put them. And they are just, I don't know what the fuck it is.
Like, what's
David Moyes.
like, what happened? Like, what made them go so well this year?
I mean, those two Czech boys, were they? Suchek and the other one? They were crazy.
Yeah.
But
He's a gun.
yeah, came out of
Like-
nowhere. No one expected it.
Like you don't often see it now with like having not saying no hoper, but you know what I mean. Someone that no one thought of at all coming
Yeah,
to have a
you're
good
really
season.
taking a
You
flyer.
don't really see them go to those big clubs anymore.
No, the big
If
clubs
he
are
has
stars.
another big season next year and West Ham stay up there again, I don't know if they can hold on to him.
Yeah, I mean, they're that type of club. Big name. Tevez, for example, came into the league with them, had an amazing season, then moves on. He could be the
Well,
same.
they even have it on the side of the pitch, don't they? The Academy of Football.
Yeah, I mean, they do have an amazing academy.
Yeah.
Their scouting system is
Yeah.
pretty freaking amazing. Like the players that
Yeah.
they produce for England.
But the amount of players that they've then sold,
Almost as good as Leicester.
it's almost like every other team uses West Ham as an academy for their players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's crazy season.
Yep.
So what do you
It's
think?
been a wild ride, I can tell you that much.
What do you think has been the craziest story this season? Honestly, I think we just spoke about it with West Ham going into Europe. They're in Europa League or the
Europa League. Yeah, no, they got sixth, yeah.
Like,
Tottenham got the conference spot. Suckers.
maybe they should have stayed in the Super League.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about teams that didn't belong, it was them.
Yeah.
Arsenal.
Yeah,
Teams that
like-
haven't been relevant for...
That's,
I mean, Tottenham's coming into it, but...
well, that's the thing. Arsenal, they're not even in Europe.
No, they don't make UEFA conference or nothing.
I know,
so-
like, that's crazy for a club like Arsenal. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that whole Super League thing was about these clubs that think they deserve the right to play in Champions League football. It's like, mate, you can't even qualify. That's the only reason you want to make
Exactly.
this mandatory, because you're
It's-
crap now, and you don't want to spend the money to actually get there. So why should you be rewarded by playing in good football? Like, Kroenke is just a nuffy.
and what was it? From Spotify,
Eck.
Eck. He saw a thing where he did make an offer and he got rejected straight away.
$1.8 billion.
Like,
I mean, they
Like, with that
protested-
sort of money, you should at least consider something.
I'd be saying yes. You want to be rid of this heartbreak? Like, the fans hate you.
like you are not going to be welcome back in the stadium.
No, they do not like you. They will not like you forever. The same with the Glazers. Man United fans will not like them no matter who they bring in next season.
Yeah.
You've broken the club down.
Well, you look at the
See you
fans years ago when they first came in. They started FC United in Manchester.
Yes, almost immediately. So,
And, like,
yep. they're doing pretty good right now.
They're rising up through the ranks.
Probably going to get a fair few more people at the quick games.
100%. Or even like Salford City.
Yeah, I mean, promoted into to League One this year. I think they won League Two.
I think they finished just outside the playoffs.
Oh no, they won the cup. They won the
cup.
thing.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I knew they'd celebrate it.
But they won that this year, but it was for last year's
tournament.
Yeah.
I think Sunderland won it the very next day against Portsmouth or something.
They at least got the cup for 24 hours.
Yep. Shortest reign in history, but hey, you still got that trophy.
Hey, you take it. The name's on the thing.
Won a cup. United.
They've won more trophies in the last 10 years than Tottenham. Why aren't they pushing for the Super League then?
Why aren't Nottingham Forest pushing for it? They've won 2 European Super Cups.
But yeah, and then there's also the chance with the clubs that came back that in the next couple of years the Premier League could change drastically. With I saw articles a couple of weeks ago after we did the last podcast of changing and bringing Rangers and Celtic into the Premier League.
Yeah, that's always been around. It makes a lot of sense. It'll destroy Scottish football, but I mean, they're just too good for Scottish football. Like, you have Welsh teams playing in the Football League.
Yeah. But are they? But then again, you see the 2 Welsh teams. Like, you've got Swansea in the playoff final this coming weekend.
Cardiff were just out. Just
out. But then that's the thing. Like, they're too good for the Scottish League. But then, as you said, that can kill the Scottish League. And then where do those clubs go? Because then you lose the want to broadcast those games.
Oh yeah, they'll lose huge amounts of broadcast money, isn't it? But it was the sort of talk, we talked about the Super League and what it would if they kick those clubs out of the Premier League. It would be a short-time pain where, these clubs leave and you're going to get less money for TV and things like that, which will sort of curtail spending. But in the long run, the fans will get behind you more, and that will be where the money comes from. So with Scotland, it would take a lot. Like, it would really kill them because match of the week, like, they don't play every game like we get here in Scotland or England. So those are the games that are usually on. Whoever Rangers are playing, whoever Celtics playing. So those games will drop because it'll be Aberdeen or Hibs, St Johnston, because they're probably the second best team in Scotland at the moment. They're the ones that'll get the big draw, but it's not going to be as big, so it'll be crap for the first few years, but they might actually grow around it. Other teams that are lower will come in, but I don't think Celtic and Rangers will be a competitive Premier League teams. I think they'll be bottom of the table for sure.
Or do you see them going mid-table?
Yeah, like that sort of 10th to 16th sort of area. Maybe not getting relegated, but they're not going to be challenging for the European spots.
Not for ages.
No, for Celtic and Rangers financially, it makes more sense to stay in Scotland because you're always going to be in the Champions League or Europa League. So you're always going to
get that big money.
If they want to talk about money, then you stay in Scotland. You don't get good TV rights, but the money they make on just getting to the group stages of these competitions is enough to keep them going. So,
as you said, like with the broadcast schedule, like I know with my team, Charlton Athletic, in the second half of the previous season and the season just gone, they really focused heavily on the streaming.
Yep.
And I think they actually won an award or something for it, for how good it was.
Yeah, a lot of club TV programs are starting to do that now.
And like Charlton TV, like it is right up there.
Idiot Blade TV, get on.
We actually, one of the guys was actually from Sky Sports. Like,
yeah, I mean, if they're fans.
It's
you got Jeff from Hartlepool. He'd be good to have on your Hartlepool coverage, but I don't think they're going to make it out of the National League. So
but I know, like, you have the 3 o'clock blackout.
Yeah, none of the 3 o'clock games are on TV. Yeah, which is crazy.
Like, I understand that with wanting people to go and see the non-league teams and all that.
Which, but I would do if I was there.
100%.
Yeah, if my team wasn't playing in town, I'd go watch being Manchester, it would be go watch Bury play or Wigan play or Salford play. Like, you'd go and support a small team. Like, it's football, it's less crowds, and it's still good football. Like, better than what we get here.
It's still in a league.
Yeah, exactly. It's still football. You're supporting a club in the local area.
That's the thing. Like, but yet again, I also look at it in the way that, like, even if it is, you do still stream it, that you can stream the 3 o'clock game. This is just my idea. It might be stupid, whatever. You can stream that 3 o'clock game on your platform to international audiences, which is fair because
we can't go to the game anyway.
We can't go anyway. Do you then potentially open that up to season ticket holders?
See, there is a thing at the moment where they're talking, because I listened to a podcast about the finance around it, and a lot of lower league teams like Championship and below are talking about for away games, season ticket holders will get the stream of the game because not everyone can go to an away game. Like if you're in Sheffield up the north and you're playing Bournemouth down south, you can't get to that game most of the time. So then you should be able to let your season ticket holders stream that game.
Yeah.
For home games at the moment, they still. I mean, when crowds are back next year, as we're starting to see, they want people to be there. So. Yeah. But away games, definitely you got to give your season ticket holders a chance.
Yeah, like take advantage and then use those numbers as well.
Yep.
To then go to potential streaming giants and saying, look, these are numbers we're pulling compared to what you're pulling. Maybe if you offer us more money, we might be able to do more deals internationally, and then you can build up internationally. Because it's one thing I hate. Like, being here in Australia, we have with Foxtel, we get Ben and Sports. That shows the championship.
Yep. And
if you're lucky, you may get one league, one game a week. I'd love to see more League One and more League Two. Because at the moment, I finally watched the League Two game last night, the Tranmere game.
Oh yeah,
and that was only because it's playoffs.
Yeah, that's the only time they get on. Yeah.
Like, I'd love to be able to watch those games.
Yeah,
like, I'm sure you guys would as well.
See more of that and less.
I think the whole entire year I've only seen one League One game on TV.
Yeah.
Was it that Charlton Doncaster game? I watched it.
Yeah, I gave you guys heads up on. But like, see, I love watching those games.
Yeah.
Like, there's some like I'll watch every one of the games in those leagues because there's sometimes I won't watch a Premier League game because you know that it's going to be a dropping. It's going to be a Dow game. It's just going to be a 0-0. It's just going to be 1-0. I don't want to watch it.
It's Burnley.
But yeah.
It's Sheffield United.
And we happen to play Burnley.
It's Liverpool.
We scored a cracker by that.
But it's like
Liverpool. Just a boring team.
Oh,
boring
God.
football.
This didn't go as planned for me.
That's the thing. It's like in the Premier League, the one derby you don't want to watch Tottenham and Arsenal.
Who cares? Except for them.
It's like Arsenal's not even playing where they're meant to be from.
Like they build it up. They build up derbies. Manchester derby. Love watching that.
Yeah.
Anything like Manchester Chelsea, Manchester Liverpool, Liverpool Chelsea, Manchester Arsenal, all the original big four clubs, them playing each other. Arsenal Tottenham. Who gives a shit? Like Tottenham, I mean the Merseyside derby, it's good because they're separated by such a short distance and it's a big class.
They're pretty much
thing in the town.
cousins.
Yeah, that's it. They marry each other. But North London
and that's before the game came about.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but North London derby with Tottenham traditionally from North London, Arsenal from South London, who moved to North London and now moved to like South East London or whatever it is now. It's like
because Arsenal are originally from where my boys are, Charlton.
Yeah, they're a southeast Londonish team.
We're more closer to Arsenal's home base than Arsenal.
Yeah, they should be part of the South London derbies. Like not North London. You're not North London.
They're not anything at the moment. They're not even relevant.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they are really nothing at the moment. So even Arsenal fan TV's copped a hit recently. You know that guy passed away, which was sad, and then they had the dude that was kicked off because he said some things about the Israel-Palestine thing and they didn't want that on the network. So it's like, they're even struggling at the moment. That's how irrelevant Arsenal is in general. So
I didn't even know Arsenal fan TV was still a thing.
It is. To be honest, most people just watch it to take the piss. Like when they can see goals, because they've been terrible.
In saying that, Arsenal are pretty easy to take the piss out of these days.
Oh yeah, there's that 8-2 joke from when they got smashed by Man United. At 8-2 be an Arsenal fan. That'll never go away. No, it's.
I don't think it can. It's there.
I think I saw a joke. Was it Tottenham or Chelsea they lost to this year 2-1?
Probably Chelsea.
And I think it was like who'd 1-2 be an Arsenal fan as well. Like it's.
Yeah, every time they lose, they're just a joke. They're Everton now. Like, they're basically Everton.
They fired their mascot.
Great look, Gonky.
Like, seriously, if there's ever a way to turn kids off of a team,
get rid of your dragon mascot.
Like,
I mean,
But seriously, that dragon mascot, dinosaur mascot, whatever it is, Gunnosaurus, say it's a dragon, whatever. Really, the last couple of years, that's the only thing from Arsenal that's been breathing fire. Like, they got rid of Olivier Giroud to Chelsea, who's now playing in the Champions League final.
Yep, and he's actually playing really good. And they have Aubameyang, to their credit, he's pretty good.
Is he going to be there?
If he was in any other team, he would be on fire. He's playing in Arsenal. He's terrible. They're not going to get Odegaard permanently because Real Madrid's cut about the whole ESL thing, so that's not happening. So
Arsenal weaker, he goes to die.
Yeah.
Well, look at Lacazette.
Look at Ozil. He went there being great, and then
Willian.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be his renaissance, and
Who?
Willian.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like...
He'll be playing it into Miami next year. He'll be a superstar. Like.
Yeah, it's... Well, are they still going to be into Miami?
Yeah, David Beckham won't change that. No chance.
Depends what Inter Milan say. Because they're following the lawsuits.
Really?
Yeah, they say they own the right to the name internationally now, or whatever.
Well, there's like an Argentinian, a Chilean team, a Brazilian team that are going to come at them for that because they're like literally just international.
That's it. We're starting an all-age team next year into Southo.
It's nice, yeah. When I went Powerball,
Yeah.
well, I did see teams playing at Seymour Shaw yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was the Cronulla Gulls, and I'm like, God, my age should be playing there.
I'm spewing. I played Cronulla the other week, and the team I played against was playing down there.
What?
All-age 15s.
That's ridiculous.
I know it's ridiculous. I'm playing all-age 15s. I'm better than that.
That should be the sacred turf, and we shouldn't be giving. Like I play club football out here. They shouldn't be letting people play on those fields. We're not worthy.
Well,
maybe just us.
Just us.
Well, yeah, because that is our hallowed turf. To us, it means something. I was trying to explain that to my new team, the boys. It's just, like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're like the ultras for Sutherland. It's like the MPL team. I'm like, you should come around. It's just drinking and singing. Yeah,
and we have the greatest name in history.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to say it on the podcast. I was going to keep that quiet.
What, the STDs?
Yeah. Just shy of terrorist disciple.
Yeah. We just say it how it is, the STDs.
STDs, yep. Feel the burn.
Exactly. Get infected.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Already has been. That's the story for another day.
If you didn't stick your finger up, you wouldn't have known who was pointing at.
Yeah.
Because it sort of went towards both of us.
Yeah.
Well, come on, mate.
that not with each other though. Like,
not that there's anything wrong.
No, like
speak for yourself.
No, but yeah, it's been a crazy season all round.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that it's over.
I know.
Although we got fans coming back next year, so.
You know what's even better? Football's back in a couple of weeks. We've got the Euros.
Oh yeah, true. We don't have to wait long for
We've got Euro 2020,
Euro 2020, yeah.
Euro 2020, 2021.
It's England's year.
Football's coming home.
That's in 2 weeks.
That's
or
only
something,
the World Cup. Squad gets announced for England Wednesday, actually, I think.
Because there's been a few squads that have already been announced.
Yeah, a few of them, yeah.
Croatia, France.
Yeah, France because or Spain as well because
Benzema's been named for France.
Yeah, and Laporte's been named for Spain because he chose to not go with France.
Well, France refused to pick him.
If they would,
how can you not pick Laporte?
He's the best almost aside from a fit Van Dijk, the best defender in the Premier League.
There were questions about him when he signed with City.
Yeah, he wasn't great at the start.
How he'd be, but I'll tell you what.
Him and John Stones, he's been a blessing for John Stones this year, and he has just been something else. Ruben Dias as well for them.
Yeah. Will City drop off next year, or do they go again?
No Aguero, possibly Harry Kane. Even without Harry Kane, I think they'll still be fine with goals. I mean, look what De Bruyne can do.
What was it?
The whole team, really.
Yeah, they can all score goals.
Pretty much no centre forward this year.
Yeah, no. Jesus is an out left winger. Aguero injured most of the year, but probably not your traditional striker. They don't have that stand-up top, but they just bang goals.
When you say that, out injured, I saw an interview with Klopp heading into the final match day talking about how Liverpool were never going to win it this year because of all the injuries.
Yeah, and it's fair to say that.
I think it was about 9 or something, 9 injuries we had.
But, yet again, if you want to be the best team, should you not have enough coverage for injuries? You know what I mean?
Like Sir Alex Ferguson would say that the teams that win titles are the teams that can cover anything that goes wrong. You're down 2-1 away on a windy, cold night at Stoke, you still win the game, you get the points. Your best striker gets injured, you have someone there that's next man up mentality. And Liverpool, I mean, they did have an unnatural amount of centre backs go down to the point where Henderson was playing there, and then he got injured.
And then Fabinho, and then he got injured.
They had all those injuries as well, and then you had the January transfer window. They could have brought in.
Yeah, they could have brought in a defender. They chose not to.
Yeah. So, is Klopp then using that as an excuse? Yeah,
you could say that. I mean.
Well, what would you say, Scotty? You are a Liverpool fan. What's your opinion on that?
I'd say he is, but given the amount of injuries, you're gonna have to bring someone in regardless. And you're putting 19-year-olds and all that. Probably never played a first league game in their lives. Fair enough, give them a run.
Yeah.
But at least bring someone who's got the experience to deal with City, Chelsea, United, their strikers are gonna come at you. So have the mentality of going, well, I've got the experience, I've got this guy, put him in. He knows what he's doing.
Well, I think you know you've got your players out injured till a certain point in the season. Like, what do you guys think on this? Like, it's, you know you've got your players out till a certain point, whether it be the end of the season or whatever. You can strike up a loan deal till the end of the season.
Yeah, you see it happen all the time.
Like, it's...
Could have gone to Madrid and got any of their defenders that don't get a good run. There's plenty of clubs that have them.
And those clubs will be happy as well because their players are getting
a run.
quality minutes.
Yeah. Especially if it's like that younger sort of player that's like 21 to 24 that is first team ready, but you've got the older guys that are just ahead of him a little bit better. You put him, hey, okay, well, Liverpool's a good team. I'm going to send him there. He's going to get good experience playing with a good coach.
And then if he comes in there and dominates, then he goes back for the next season. It's like...
Or you sell him to that club for a massive profit.
Yeah.
Like,
or you look at the older player and be like...
How many years do we realistically have left with this guy? He stepped up big time.
And then it creates... But I suppose in that way it creates more chaos in the player market, but then that potentially helps some of the mediocre teams that these big clubs aren't going to want to stick around with these older players not playing. They're not going to want to loan them out. They may be happy to sell at the right price.
Yeah.
So then some of these mid-of-the-road teams, boom, they get that experienced player, and then that can solidify their team, and then that can help that team build.
Gary Cahill at Crystal Palace was a prime example. He was still good at Chelsea. Went to Crystal Palace, did really good last year. Had a really good season. Had that horrible injury, but
But you look at Palace this year, like their defence is a lot better than what you would have predicted had he not gone there to pass on his knowledge and intelligence to the game. And
he brought down the guys through behind. I mean, their defence really wasn't awesome, but again, they had young guys playing in the backs, but their attack was so good with Zaha. Is it Benteke at that? Where's Benteke? There's
he's at Palace.
It is Palace, right? Yeah. Benteke up there. I think I used there. They have really good attack, but their defence is where they lack. But when Cahill was there last year, he scores goals.
Yeah. But the thing is, you could even see with the young defenders this year, there were times where they were making defensive moves, cutting out plays that you see experienced players doing. You don't expect from the young talent.
Yeah, it's learning how to read the game and things like that.
And that's what that can pass on.
And as Palace are good, well-known Palace fans, Stuart Day always talks about how every year they're going into the season, how many points will we stay up by this year? Like, they don't expect to do anything.
You know what? I hope they don't start next year.
Yeah, it's about time they go down. Like, enough's enough. Like,
so you had a good run.
I don't want them to stay up next year. Ben Charlton, I can't.
Well, if you guys get to the Championship, you might be able to play them in the South London derby.
Freaking pull their pants down and embarrass them.
Maybe not the first season. I remember our first year back in the Championship against Wednesday. I think we beat them in one game, and it was the game where they were all jumping up if you hate the Blades, and then we scored a goal just to sit them all down. That was really nice. But it'll be a tough couple of years when you first get back into the Championship if they drop down, but you'll eventually have the dominance because you're a bigger club. Like, historically, you're bigger than Palace. Like, people don't grow up being Palace fans unless you literally have a Palace fan as a dad.
Well, like, I'm on a page on Facebook, Addicts International, and we're now, the page is officially registered as an official child supporter group.
Nice, like MCFC.
And they've got Addicts International shirts
gear,
and all that.
Definitely.
And there was a photo put in the group this morning of Thomas Sandgaard, the owner of Charlton, wearing one of the shirts.
Good man.
Like, it just shows, like, and again, like, going back to the Super League talk and how good it is to say it's done, but how these owners need to go. You have an owner there, and this is why I think just in the... thanks for that, Jaimie. Sorry, I'm fiddling around with the camera. Hopefully the first half hour is recorded.
Yep.
Welcome back to... If you want to hear what you missed out on, because the camera turned off, head on to Spotify and search Chat from the Back. Head on to Apple Podcast and go through to about 30 minutes in, and you'll be able to hear that chat.
That small little 30 seconds.
But yeah, it's
positive words about Stephen Dale.
It's sorry about that, guys. It's something different for this, but
it's alright. We're good.
Yeah. But
I'm just amazed my roommates haven't come back.
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually not filming this at my place today. We're down to Jaimie's filming. Suffered an injury yesterday.
Yep.
At
Football. Yep. Kind of frustrating. Can't walk.
Yeah, you suffered an injury.
I have my crutch.
Yeah. Anything interesting happened to you yesterday, Scotty?
Yeah, some guy slapped me in the face, so I pushed him over.
Sounds like a good Saturday night.
Hey, it was a Como derby.
Yeah.
Nice.
I actually got my first goal ever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you had probably the best part of the weekend.
Yeah.
We won because I scored. We lost 9-2 on the scoreboard, but we won because I scored.
We drew 1-1.
Yeah.
And our game got
4-1.
What,
Oh, nice.
You
You
lost
actually
or you won?
Oh, God up, mate. Come
Yeah.
on.
How many goals have you guys scored this year?
None.
None?
I've only played 40
Next-
minutes.
Yeah.
Next question.
No. So, how many?
None.
So out of us three in our seasons, admittedly you've only played a short
40
amount of time.
minutes.
I'm the leading goal scorer, so I'm winning the chat for the back golden boot so far this year.
Yeah, alright.
All right.
Alright.
Changing that up.
I'm going to be out for another like 4 or 5 weeks, so it's not like I'm coming anytime soon.
So last place over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be the nudie run on the podcast for me. Benny's backyard.
Yeah. That'll be on the OnlyFans.
Yep.
To be fair, it's been done before.
Way too many times. Unfortunately, that's usually how most of the parties at my place end up.
Naked.
Yeah, strangely enough, yeah.
Can't say that about here. We're pretty.
One of us or numerous people will end up naked.
Usually, like at parties here, 4 or 5 of us will end up in my roommate's room on the bed together, playing a game on the PlayStation. But you know, we all have to sit on the bed.
I just killed the vibe.
Yeah, no, I didn't want people to think we were weird here. This was some sort of grotto.
Where's the grotto?
It's not anymore.
Oh, damn.
Anymore.
Taking away my dreams.
Not since the buzzkill moved in.
But yeah, so it's been a great season. As we said, it sucks that it's over now, but
Yeah, it's good to see City on top again
yeah,
and in the Champions League final. So.
yeah,
Can't complain. I mean,
yeah,
I'm a Sheffield blade through and through
Yeah.
because of my granddad, but
yeah.
I mean, my family's from Manchester.
Yeah.
My nan was a die-hard Blue fan. Until Sheffield got back in the Premier League, I cared about City in the
Yeah.
Premier League. So it was good to see them win it the same
Yeah.
year that my beloved go down.
Yeah.
You know, it was still good to see a team I like.
Well, you get to see 2 of them.
Yeah, it's
You
the
got
highs and
both,
lows.
you've got both emotions.
I mean, let's be honest. Most of us knew Sheffield United were going
Yeah.
down 10 weeks into the
Yeah.
season. So
Yeah, you had the season of high and lows. In one season, you went through a full marriage, so it was.
yeah. Yep. I can't make up whether or not I'm divorced now or if I'm in a good spot. I mean, I'll be barracking hard for City next year and in the
Yeah.
Champions League final next weekend, and I'll be watching every one of Sheffield's game was on iFollow. So
Well, then, could you be divorced and paying alimony?
yeah, let's call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm paying alimony next year to
Yeah.
iFollow. It cost me so many hundreds of dollars.
Some might say that's cheaper than getting an
Yes,
divorce and paying alimony.
definitely cheaper than transport.
Yes.
I know.
That dead silence.
Oh, yeah, it's been a great season. Like for us, all 3 of our teams did all right. Like yes, I'm a Charlton fan, but growing up that was never pushed on me, so I made my own choice of the rival to both of you boys,
Yeah.
Man United.
Yep.
But again, I think that also goes back to growing up. United were always on top. They were always on TV.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's it. You got to watch more.
I got to watch more of them, and I felt
Yep.
okay. This is good, and it was always a good style of play, and I think that's where a lot of the young kids get drawn to those big teams, not because they're winning, but because of the style of play.
And they see them more. Like
Yeah.
when we were growing up, you didn't get to see every game like we do now. You'd get the early game. You get one of the early games, the late game, maybe the real late game. And then eventually, you had the red button where you could pick the 4 games you wanted to watch, and then now we get everything. So
The good old viewer's choice.
yeah, but when we were growing up, you got 1 or 2 games, so you had to. Like Sheffield were in the Premier League, but we were never going to be on TV unless we played the big guns. So
What was Viewer's choice?
yeah, and we weren't winning those games.
No,
So
it's whether they need to look at doing more. Like that's the thing I love with Optus Sport here in Australia. Like literally every game.
everything. You get the J League as well, like Champions League games. Like I want them
Saying
to have
that,
everything.
we lose Champions League on Optus Sport next year.
Yeah, it's going to Sports League.
Something like that.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that,
on my podcast, we're going to have one of the directors of that company on the show eventually when they do the deal and stuff like that, because he's pretty confident about getting the rights to the A-League, which I'm all for. Like, they have Champions League, A-League, they just got the Chinese Super League.
Yeah. Can you hook us up with a free subscription?
That's what I'm working on.
Group subscription.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be...
Screw it. It'll just be parties here.
Yeah, just put the Chromecast on the TV, and they should be going hard for the lower leagues, like not lower leagues, but other leagues around Europe, like go for Norway, Belgium, the Eredivisie, things like
Seriously,
that.
that's the one thing that is, I'm sure, is killing you as much as me, is not being able to watch the Eredivisie.
Yeah, no, we beat Utrecht last night 2-0, and I could not find a stream that was decent to save my life. And it was an early game, a kick-off at 9:30. Like, it was perfect for it, yeah.
And that's one of the things that sucks is, like we're both Vineyard fans, and for anyone that could be an Ajax fan, even though you're scum.
I know a friend of ours, Vossi, I think he's an Utrecht fan, because Tommy Orr played there, and he went to watch him play over there.
And same with like for us, for like the English teams, like yes, we have lots of support for the watch Premier League or that, but if you support any of the other teams and you want to watch the Champions League games, it's the only thing I'm not happy with is having to fork out for a new subscription.
Yeah, it's going to be frustrating. It's going to come down to, like, am I going to keep going with Kayo, where I'm going to miss AFL, NRL, A-League, things like that, unless sports forget it, or do I just bite the bullet and another $12 subscription on sport that my missus hates that I have nearly $100 worth?
Or do the 3 of us go splits.
Yeah, on one thing, that could work.
Yeah, that could work.
That could work, yeah, it would save a lot of money.
We know what, with YouTube, live stream. We can live stream. We obviously won't be able to have any audio or game footage.
But we can watch it.
But then we can watch it and commentate ourselves.
On YouTube, yeah. Because I know iFollow is good. It costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's basically NPL level coverage over here.
There's nothing wrong with that, though.
I know, one camera, one commentator. I mean, it doesn't bother me. Like, that's how I did it watching Sheffield.
At the end of the day, football's football.
Yeah, and I like NPL TV. I think it's awesome. Yeah. NPL Victoria needs to come on board so I can watch some of the big games down there. But
because you got what? South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales.
I think ACT's
Western
Australia.
Oh, awesome, thank God.
Is Northern New South Wales on there yet or not?
No, they're not on there, but that would be another one.
That would be another one.
I mean, I'm from Northern New South Wales, so kind of.
NT, Hobart.
NT Women's is on there, I think. I've seen NPL TV posts, or they do highlights of games, so.
Yeah, it's
Capital would be nice, Tasmania, like, they should have them all. I don't understand how they're not opted in yet. It's such a good promotion tool.
Exactly.
Like
you see all the videos and all the fan pages of the games and the crowds, and like you just have the games complete. Yeah. And then you have you get the highlights packages, and it's just a great way to showcase the game. Like I saw a photo on a Facebook page from an American TV show or movie, and someone was watching a football game. Fair enough. It was an NPL game from South Australia.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Did you guys see that as well?
Screenshot of it.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, hey, look at that.
I'll be damned.
No, it was like an NSL game because it was Perth Glory, back before the A-League was around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, is that photoshopped in? Or...
Yeah, but it's actually, when you watch the movie, I watched it randomly, at some stage after that I was watching, I'm like, oh my God, that's that scene that I see the photo.
So it's not, because I thought it was
photoshopped. It is actually, he's actually randomly watching that game,
and people
international stage.
Exactly. And people say Australian football isn't there.
It's there.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the crowd at the Sydney Derby was pretty decent this week. Yeah. It was good to see Wellington, 24,000 people to welcome them home. It was amazing.
I was so happy to see Wellington win.
Yeah. Especially the way they did it in front of those fans. See the yellow fever, shirts off.
Yeah. and you know what? I'd love to see next year is you get some of the teams will play each other 3 times, others 2, right?
That third home game.
I think in the teams that Wellington play 3 times next year, no matter what it works out,
2 over there.
They always have the 2. They have the 2 games over there, and even if you do that for the next 2 years to try and say thank you.
I mean, they're talking about in the NRL that next year the Warriors will not play a game in Australia to thank them for 2 years.
I don't agree with that.
No.
No.
They've been here for 2 years, but.
What about all the Warriors fans that live in Australia that then miss out on games?
Look, and I'm one of them, so I understand that. But
my idea is
it's a tough one.
Say sorry, Brisbane. We're taking Magic Round off of you and do 2 Magic Rounds next year in New Zealand.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds better.
2 different stadiums.
Do 1 in Auckland.
Yep.
And you do one in that, what is it, the Forsyth Bar Stadium, the one that's got the roof on it.
Yeah, where the Highlanders play. I think it's the Highlanders. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Otago, that's it. Yeah.
You do both of those.
That would be good. So that way weather doesn't affect it either.
Or you do one in Wellington at Westpac.
That would also be good.
It's,
because let's face it, Queensland, no one gives a shit. Except for people.
You know what I mean? And I think that's an even better way to say thank you.
Yeah, because that's going to be huge money for the local government, things like that.
Well, you look at how much they packed it out for the Nines.
Yeah, there was a good Nines down there.
Like,
I think that's probably a better idea because you're right. Like people like me, who being from Armidale, I could go watch them train at Tamworth when I was up there on weekdays, and I did that just because it was cool. And the community up there really got behind them. Like when they took the game up there, it was a good crowd up there. So,
and that's the thing. Like, you take all the games to New Zealand, then you got those people there that feel like the Warriors are now their team.
Don't get to actually go to Newcastle to watch them play because that's or Brisbane, kind of.
Or Gold Coast or whatever.
Yeah, Gold Coast.
They don't get the chance to go and watch them play in their own. You know what I mean? Like you're taking that away from them.
I also thought maybe like over the next 2 years, every team takes next year. What is it? 16 teams in the NRL. Yeah. So say 7 of them next year take their home game against the Warriors over to New Zealand. Yeah. And then the next year, the other 7 teams take theirs to New Zealand.
So they still play some games in Australia.
Yeah, so they're still here, but you know it's split over 2 years, where it kind of works out that they get that not lost income, but that sort of comes back. Yeah. But I like the 2 Magic Rounds idea. I think that's freaking awesome. I'd go to one of them. That'd be sick.
The thing is, you look at that for the NRL. For the NRL, that's such a money spinner.
Yeah. Especially at some of those stadiums, like a Westpac Stadium, whatever they fucking call it now. The Wellington
Sky Stadium.
Yeah, the Wellington Rectangular Stadium.
The cake tin.
For FIFA World Cup reasons.
The cake tin.
Yeah, the cake tin. Yeah, the cake tin. That would look so good with a packed crowd.
Eden Park, where they had the Nines.
That'd be, and it's such a historic ground to New Zealand. Yeah. Like it's the All Blacks home. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. They should definitely look at that because you're right. Fans need to go and watch the team play because we're not all based in New Zealand. Yeah. That's just the global economy. Yeah. So it would be good to see.
Because then
2 rounds
you don't want those fans to miss out on seeing their team in Australia.
You do it the first round of the year. Everyone's playing there, so no one's really in a rhythm anyway. Yeah. But you know, in pre-season we're all going to New Zealand, so you can even wrap up your pre-season already over there the week before.
Well, then do you take the benefit of that, and each team plays at least one pre-season game in New Zealand in a regional area, so that way you take the game out.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, because they do it a lot up here now. Yeah. Like, take it to New Zealand. Yeah.
Well, you see like Charity Shield, St George and South Smudgy.
Yep.
Like you see the crowds there. Like the game yesterday between what was it?
Rabbitohs
Souths and Panthers.
What was that?
Look at the crowd there.
Yeah.
The crowd Panthers.
Massive crowd Dubbo. My cousins from Penrith went to Dubbo for the game. So that's a huge trip for people from not as big a deal for them, but for us it would be huge. Yeah. It's an extra hour and a half.
I know.
Ain't going that far west.
But like it's definitely stuff I think needs to be looked at. Yep. But
I like that Wellington idea. I think,
I definitely like that 2 Magic Round one.
Yep. Yeah. That would be really cool. I'd try and convince the missus to let me go.
Yeah. Boys trip.
Yeah, for sure.
Happens, boys trip.
I reckon we get a lot of boys on board.
No,
Nichols,
depends if his boss lets him off.
Yeah. I reckon if we do, I reckon we could even take the camera.
Yeah, do it from the hotel room for sure.
And do an episode.
You were going to do it when we went up to the Newcastle City game. You were going to do one on the way up, but the camera. We couldn't do that. Not the best trip away. We had a 1-1 draw, but it was good fun.
Mate, so much reminiscing on that trip.
Yeah, the drive up and down was probably the best part.
Well, believe it or not, last weekend because I caught my girlfriend up with my little boy. Went to Big W. They had the box set of every season. The show we were talking about. The show that wouldn't get past the censors this day and age. Angry Beavers.
Angry Beavers, yeah.
And they had the box set of like the whole first season of like Wild Thornberries, Rugrats, Angry Beavers. I think it was even Rocker's Modern Life was on there.
It's coming back, man. The kids these days want to watch it, or people like us want to watch it again.
Because it was good.
Put it on Netflix for sake.
Pay the money.
Yeah,
give us what we want.
Because you'll get a huge amount of people going for it, even if it's just for 6 months.
What is it? It's my 30th next year.
Like a you.
Okay, Grandpa. I'm even thinking of doing a 90s theme.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And we dress up as 90s cartoon characters.
Oh, I was going to go as a ska punk performer with the overalls with the checker shirt.
And you know what? I'd be going as a lesser character from Rocco's Modern Life. Hef.
Careful. Not that lesser character.
It's not like the name
It's
character.
It's not Rocco. Yeah.
It's,
Oh, I'd go as what was the wild kid from the Wild Thornberries? Dewey.
something like that.
Yeah, I'd go with Dewey. Just leopard print shorts, top off.
Yeah. Speak gibberish.
Like that guy from Waterboy. That'll be it.
I think we might call a wrap on this episode. This last
This is what the drive was like going up there.
This is the drive up to Newcastle. Like if we ever do that again, we may need to pull the camera out just so you guys can actually see how much fun it is, and like obviously wouldn't be able to play the music. It was like pure 90s hits.
Yeah, it was not a single song, and it was one of those things like, oh, you'll know this song if you know this song. It's like, bang, yeah, like, straight away you get it.
And like it was like you didn't want to skip the song, but if you skip the song, you found a better song.
Yeah, you weren't going to be able to play another song.
My playlist I've done for like just like chill out, and I think it's like 13 hours now.
It's pretty. I'll probably get a run tomorrow on my drive north. So
yeah, but that's great to be back again for another episode. Again, Jaimie, thanks for joining us.
No worries. Sydney Sky Blue.
Yeah. So you've got podcasts as well.
Yeah, CNR show will be back this week. We've been off for about a month. Actually, probably since we last did this show, we've been off.
Yeah. Just because I was meant to be.
Yeah, we tried to do one, but
it just
the audio just wasn't great.
It just corrupted.
I just couldn't be bothered doing it again. But Nugget's back now. He's back from work, so we should be doing it probably tomorrow night. Thursday night actually.
Alright, so there's Circling the Rectangle show. I think you have another one, don't you?
Yeah, Finding the Gap is an F1 podcast I do with two American mates. We're doing that tonight. Drops previews before every Grand Prix, reviews after, and on off weeks, which will be next week, we do a flashback to a classic race. So we already got a really good one up there with Hamilton's first win in Canada, and we review Monaco tonight. So it's gonna
I'll put the links to those in the YouTube video. So go check them out.
Yeah, YouTube is probably better for our flashbacks because it's pretty funny.
Yeah. So
and we have video. Yeah. So you need the video. We listen to the podcast, it doesn't sound right.
Yeah. So I'll put the links to that in there. Please, thanks for joining, Scotty. It's good to be back again.
Finally.
We've also sort of decided every now and again we will try and keep Jaimie on as a regular. I think it adds a bit more having the three of us here, a bit more of a. Don't get that 50-50 vote. Like there's always going to be that deciding vote on any discussion, which I think is great. Let us know in the comments down below what you've thought. Give us feedback on socials.
Yeah, that's it. Get involved in socials.
Let us know. I'm probably looking at starting up a Twitter account for the chat from the back, and even a Facebook page or something. Just try and
review the podcast on the podcast. If you do a funny one, read it out on the show.
Yeah,
be as funny as you want.
Let us know. Give us if you've got any questions you want to ask on a future episode. Like we keep saying it, but we really are going to try. We really are trying to get this more regular. Yes. It's just trying to get the time, but thanks for joining us. And as I always say on every video, and as I've been saying on the podcast, keep living a great life. Peace.